back to the LEC as Astralis takes its upset victory against Fnatic. But thank you so much for joining me, Promisq. I saw you guys screaming and just hugging each other right after the Fnatic victory. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, it feels really good to win, obviously. Extra nice to win on stage as well. I think we I feel like if you win on stage, it really means a bit extra. Because you can always win from home, but coming here and playing on stage, and even though there's no crowd here, I think it's a bit of a statement to be able to play under the extra pressure. So yeah, it just feels good.
Maybe the stage buff was exactly what Astralis needed, especially to close out the game. Because run me through the final Elder Drake fight, because Fnatic did manage to secure the Drake, but in the end, Astralis managed to go into Fnatic space and take it all.
Yeah, I feel like this whole Drake segment was I don't know, it felt like it was 2 minutes long in game because it was a fight and then they kind of stopped and then everyone just got back at it from respawning, just ran straight back to Drake and then it was another half fight. Yeah, I think there was a lot of nerves, honestly. There was just 2v2s, 3v3s, 1v1s happening and Kobe couldn't join the first fight and it was a bit of a mess for sure. And yeah, not much else to say. I guess they got the Drake, but then we just ended up being able to kill them anyways. And luckily we had a bot wave, so we could just finish the game. So yeah, it felt good.
Exactly, and your Galio played a critical role, not only in this team fight, but also in Astralis' early game playing, for which you have won the player of the game, from Kia player of the game. So what can you tell me more about the Galio pick, and how satisfied are you with your recent performances at Astralis' beat down Rogue last week and also Fnatic this week?
Yeah, I feel like I'm playing better and better. I had a bit of a rough start as well to the split. But yeah, I've been getting better and better, and I feel like you kind of start to feel like there's less and less pressure, because we went 0-8 or whatever. And then it's very anger fueling to just keep losing, and you feel like you don't really accomplish things. So I just try to use that anger and play more aggressive, I guess, in game as well, and just kind of get shit done, I guess. And yeah, it's getting done right now, I think. So yeah, I think Galio this game, they banned Leona Nautilus, which is something I'm really comfortable on right now. But yeah, I could just trust, we had Jarvan, which is really good with Galio as well. And it's good in lane as well into Rakan. So I think it felt really natural to go Galio here, and I think it was a really good pick.
Anger is the key. Hey, if it works for you, it works for you. One final question, Promisq. So as Astralis continues to bring upset here at the LEC studio, what is the ceiling for Astralis for rest of the 2020 spring, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think it's kind of hard to tell. Some days where it's just a really rough day of practice, and then you're yeah, things are not looking too hot. And then another day you can just show up against one of the teams like Fnatic, for example, even in practice, which just kind of shows, it kind of shows there's a ceiling there at least. But yeah, I think it's just important for us to get some more wins in Spring Split. Can't really say the playoffs is still really realistic for us. But I mean, it's not out of the window, right? But yeah, just getting some wins, getting some trying to find our identity, I guess, and get some momentum for summer, and then take it from there, I guess, kind of like we did in last year.
And we'll continue to look forward to it. Thank you so much for the interview, and congratulations again on the win. And I'll take it straight to Vedi and Nymaera for a closer look at the upcoming match versus Misfits versus XL.
Thank you so very much, Ashley. Now, the catchphrase, "if only we'd won one more game," summarizes the teams competing next as Misfits and XL fight for a playoffs spot. Both teams are coming off the back of a 2-0 week, and both teams find themselves on a 3-game winning streak. So, Nymaera, this is the 4th year that the XL have been in the LEC, and they are yet to qualify for playoffs.
Yes, and that's been quite a painful journey for them. Thank you for reminding them of that. But this does seem like a bit of a golden roster for them. It's taken some time to build up. There were a lot of growing pains, but they've put together a 3-win streak. They haven't done that for an entire year. The last time they did that was, of course, in Spring Split last year. And they're looking like they've really found some form for themselves.
And it seems like Misfits is in a similar boat where last year they went through a rebuilding phase in the summer split. We saw them really come into fruition where both in both of their best of fives, they pushed all the way to the 5th game. Misfits was so very close to qualifying to the World Championship. And then we see them lose a bunch of players, and the question marks are they really going to be that good? But it seems already in spring, this rebuild is taking beautiful strides.
Absolutely, and I think that Misfits are an org that have always had that ability to kind of like come back and surprise in some form. It's just not quite enough. I think it is getting encapsulated with that not quite there. And both of these teams are now sat there thinking, actually, there's a real shot at this, particularly with a team which we assumed that would be so dominant in Vitality, not being so much a part of that equation. They're kind of struggling in their own right. Both of these teams see a very valuable opening.
Yeah, they certainly do. Now, both of these teams very much want to qualify for the playoffs, and for today's game, we wanted to focus a little bit more on their bot laners and their history, because some of you may not be that familiar with Patrik, but he does have quite a history here in the LEC.
He does. He came into the scene under the name of Sheriff, and that was, of course, back on the old HGK roster. And at that point, you know, this guy was such a firecracker, had such an ability to outplay and show up to these old gods of the ADC role in EU. Of course, then after that, went over onto Origin, made a finals, and he was considered probably a top 3 ADC in the region as well. And this is definitely a region where we've had a lot of that talent. We went through another couple of teams at that point, went on to Excel over in 2020, didn't manage to make the playoffs yet again, but he's gone through various rosters, always had an impactful view on the game. A lot of his teams have gone to the point where it's like, just wait for items on Patrik he can carry. He's yet to find that real top performance in terms of the results, but he's always been in the mix.
I think that Patrik is a player that not that long ago, as you rightly said, many fans considered one of the best in the region. And the fact that he did make that finals on that Origin roster, the fact that he has actually achieved so much, and regardless of the roster that he was on, he was the player that we would often speak about to be that big carry. I feel like over the last 2 weeks, we've finally gotten to see the return of that form for Patrik.
And I think the great thing is that, you know, it's everyone stepping up to join him as well. I feel like there's a bit of a parallel between both teams. We can surely get onto that a bit later. But the fact that Patrik has kind of got some comrades in arms to form that battle line with him, and they're all stepping up as an ensemble, it's a really important factor.
Now, Neon on the other side doesn't quite have the same success story that Patrik did have. He has largely been fighting for people to recognize him within the scene, and someone that I think has been consistently trying to earn that acknowledgement from the fans.
And, you know, Neon has also got a history which goes back a little way, but I think in the last couple of weeks has really shown up. It's not just the Vetheo show now. As much as we talked about Excel stepping up to join Patrik, I think that Neon has been the player to step up and join Vetheo.
Yeah, he originally debuted back with the Unicorns of Love. He was a name that on that roster, a lot of... they were kind of a fan favorite roster, right? But then... winning EU Masters alongside Misfits Premier, I feel like a lot of people recognized him as being talented, but then there was always that discussion, is he really LEC level? Should he really be taking that slot away from another AD carry player? And then especially by being a part of then Schalke last year, it was a struggle and it was a disappointment, and many fans didn't have that same faith in him, but Misfits were willing to give him that opportunity. And I think last week he really, really cemented that he is an AD carry player that you have to respect.
It's real vindication, right? I mean, heck, there are so many players which have gone through those poor run of forms and they've just kind of like just been shunted out of the scene. It's like, okay, well, you know, there are other players who are also talented, because it turns out we've got a lot of talent in the region. For a player to kind of stamp their foot and say, yeah, watch me, that's great to see. It's very emotive.
Yeah, now, we wanted to bring up some of the stats, highlighting 2 of the AD carries, and we were specifically asked by our stats man to highlight them, because they are quite impressive. You can see a lot of 1s and a lot of 2s, and you can also see what's surprising is the very little jungle attention that Neon also does in fact get in the early game, yet he's still able to have a significant impact in the game. In particular, look at the damage percentages. These 2 are very responsible for a lot of the damage in their team.
And it's actually incredible to say that they kind of do that just off of their own backs. Yeah. I think that particularly Misfits are a team which we've criticized in the early game a little bit. They've come out all guns blazing, actually, in the last couple of weeks. You look at Mersa, you look at Shlatan, they've managed to stabilize things to allow the team to get to that point. We've talked to them about a team that scales up into relevant damage, and Neon is a huge part of that.
He certainly is. Now, I do have to address the slight elephant in the room. Both teams are on a 3-win streak, but Misfits' last 3 wins were against SK, BDS, and Rogue, whereas Excel's last 3 wins were against Fnatic, Vitality, and BDS. So to me, it feels like that one win streak is not quite like the other.
They're both impressive. You know, I think both these teams, which we've, you know, worried about their consistency, having just the 3 wins back-to-back is important in general. But yes, you look at the strength of schedule, and particularly with, you know, Rogue faltering a little bit, maybe you take a couple of marks off that from them experimenting across the board. But they're still a very strong fundamental team. They're still our first-place team. There is no knocking that. For me, I'd rather look at the way that XL have won their games, though, like in the methods that they've done it. You look at that Vitality game, I'm not going to stop talking about that, because to be able to come back from such a strange map where actually the bot lanes moved mid very early into the game, lots of early ganks coming in from the Hex Flash on the Trundle, for them to stabilize that game, understand the game state, come back and just smash it, really impressed me.
So your expectations are that you would consider XL the favorites coming into this matchup?
Yes, but not by as much as I'd like to vote for them.
Well, I think that's why this matchup is so interesting, right? We know that it has massive implications for the standings rather. We also think that both teams are not that different in terms of their play style. We think that both are going to deliver a good show, and I'm very excited to see what they can deliver. Now, these were the two of the best bots bouting in a battle before this. Now they look to take a huge step towards playoffs in Misfits versus XL.
Thank you very much, Andrew Vedius Day. That's me and Caedrel.
Yep, we've transformed a bit.
Yeah, that's our new look.
Poro in the middle.
We're both hella shredded under this. Trust me, that's.
Look at my arms. I'm massive.
You're jacked.
Holy.
I'm a Birdman now. Or
you did do a Rakan cosplay once, didn't you?
I did. I actually wore it for a couple other pieces of content.
You did it on stage behind me. I remember playing on stage in 2019, and you were standing behind me.
Oh man, I've made so much content for Excel. Okay, interesting throwback. We'll see if they make more content.
Good times.
Excel do make playoffs this season. But I want to recap quickly. You've already heard this is a very important game for standings. These two teams are neck and neck, and remember that wins in the second half are actually more valuable when it comes to head-to-head, short of like 3-way tiebreakers or more complex tiebreaker scenarios. But importantly, I want you to think back. Wow.
That's funky.
That is, I love this song. Wow. Okay, that's super funky. That threw me. All right, so remember, last time these two teams played, Excel were in control. They did not build a big gold lead, but they took most of the objectives, and Misfits kept the gold close. Then a single dragon fight.
And the game was over.
And the game was over. Misfits won, stomped a couple fights back-to-back. Yep. This time, we know Excel for weeks now have been specifically focusing on things like the dragon fights. The question is, can they build the same leads they built last time and take it home this time as this incredibly funky music takes us
just
into
keeps going.
It does not stop.
You're right. They lost that game over a dragon fight. They brought in Mikyx and they said, look, we need to fix our dragon fights. And from then onwards, it looks like clean-cut team fighting from XL, taking down some of the top teams. Of course, Misfits in 4th place with 7 wins and 4 losses. XL with 6 wins and 5 losses. So if XL win, they will be in 4th place with Misfits alongside them in a tie, kind of. Depends on the head-to-head later on. But if, of course, Misfits win, then XL is going to be knocked down once again. So, important game for XL, an important game for Misfits to try to escape that middle pack and make sure their playoff spot is locked.
And again, we say this every time playoffs contention is tight, but beating someone who you are neck and neck with in the standing is basically 2 wins. You are moving yourself up and you're moving them down. Both of those things incredibly important for you. Beating lower teams, it's good, but you're not directly competing with them, so there's not as much value. This one, however, is a must-win. For now, 3 AD champions banned on the side of Misfits gaming. You got the Caitlyn, the Jason, the Xin Zhao, Gwen, Thresh, as well as the Zeri.
Yeah, Zeri. We saw today's cold open how OP she was. And TF open, interestingly. We saw TF banned a lot. It got nerfed in 12-3. Hasn't been picked up too many times since that nerf because it's still been banned away. I wonder if it's a high prio, but with Xin Zhao down, Lee Sin is high prio. Jarvan for both these junglers. There's the Lee Sin, which we expect to be locked in for Shlatan, taking that away from Markoon. Both these junglers have only played Lee Sin, Xin Zhao, and Jarvan. Other than that, we've got 2 games on Shlatan from Diana, and that's about it. So how does Markoon respond? Because Jarvan early rotation's fine if Thresh is down, but it loses 1v1 to Lee Sin. But I think we're going to get the classic Season 12 AD carry trade-off of Aphelios Jinx and the classic Season 12 jungle trade-off of Jarvan Lee Sin.
And frankly, I don't mind because they're both incredibly powerful hyper-carry champions, but I wouldn't complain if there was a bit of a curveball thrown in on the Misfits side and they wanted to throw us something a little bit more explosive in the bottom lane. For now, though, we can just assume that it will be the trade. It is going to be Jarvan versus Lee Sin, however. And I will say, Shlatan, first Lee Sin game on stage, we were really hyping up his Lee Sin because of how good it was in the ERLs. Bit underwhelming. After that, though, it's been steadily getting better. He's been getting cleaner and cleaner each game he's played in the LEC, so ready to see what impact it can have.
Love that early Graves rotation there because you're against the Jarvan. Good mobility, good blind pick top. How does Finn respond? Could go for something like Gwen, but it's banned away. AP tops tend to be the lean towards. Irelia can work, but of course very, very explosive. We might see a Malphite later down the line. Finn is a Malphite connoisseur, of course, and into 3 AD carry champions, it's always useful. I'm looking at things like Kennen here is a typical counter pick in the LCK and the LPL. Tryndamere, of course, is another good counter pick. But for now, LeBlanc Jarvan's going to get locked in. I'm expecting them to maybe ban away 2 mid laners from Vetheo with this LeBlanc pick.
And remember, LeBlanc's W was hit to nerf some of that wave clear, so I'm not quite as free to roam early on. Trade's hit a little bit as well, but I like that you bring up the Irelia. Because for those who forgot, yes, Excel did a lot of stuff against BDS. Finn, not a big part of that. Got absolutely bodied by Adam. You feel like he picked the Irelia and he was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take this man down 1v1. So I expect a more reserved Finn. That's my only point. I'm not trying to rub in the pain. Okay, I was trying to rub it in a little bit.
The 2 Irelia tops we've seen in the LEC, not too hot.
Not
so
great. Yeah.
Let's stay away from that for now. Lulu banned away, of course, denying that Jinx Lulu from Mersa, who has got 1 game of Lulu display. Oh, they're going to ban the Irelia. Okay, so they're going to show us that we had a little bit of a rant about it, but they are going to take it away. I mean, you've heard pro players talk about Finn's Irelia and solo queue. He's a monster. But
Absolutely.
on the stage games, hasn't translated just yet. Just paying respects with that ban for now, as second bans come through for both sides. Maybe Misfits want to target 2 top laners, take away something like a Malphite, a Kennen, one of these counters that we see in the eastern regions, depending on what Finn might want to play. Could also just go for Ornn, would work for teamfights, and there's one of the mid bans, take away Victor, 1 safe mid from Vetheo. But Vetheo to me has been more of a, I will pick a melee champ, I will pick a Kali, I'll pick Sylas. So maybe he leans towards that, or just goes for something like Orianna Zoe, which is his kind of control mage bread and butter.
And I'm curious what Excel are going to value more for the counter pick. If it's going to be the support for Mikyx to try to set up bot lane to win, or if they're going to give Finn counter pick for the top side matchup. Now Finn, I would say outside of the performance that I already kind of memed him about, he's been pretty solid, whereas here it's been very up and down. He's had some super strong games, he's had some super weak games, so see where Excel want to put more priority. After what we heard from the desk, I'm inclined to say bot lane.
I feel like Nautilus is a good pickup here for XL because Nautilus is good into LeBlanc. Point and click ultimate really shuts her down in teamfights. And you can deny it from Misfits. Leona also works, but then you give them the Nautilus. I talked about the Tryndamere counter pick in the eastern regions. We haven't seen it yet in the LEC. What you tend to do is play Ghost Tryndamere against the Graves, and you can chase him down after 1 item and actually kill him. And the Graves in the eastern regions also goes Ghost to match the Tryndamere. So what we've been seeing a lot of is like Exhaust Ghost Graves top or Ghost Flash Graves top. I wonder if HiRit is going to opt into that as well.
And while we've seen a lot of different versions of Graves, this is the first Tryndamere in EU history.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow, it doesn't feel like it, does it? I mean, it came to meta in Worlds last year.
Yes.
And yeah, we haven't seen any LEC games just yet. Again, really big pick in the LPL and the LCK, and now here in the LEC. Leona picked up here for Misfits. What's their mid laner going to be? Something like Lissandra could fit pretty well as well. Really good peel for the Tryndamere, good setup for LeBlanc, helps your jungler a lot. Lissandra leads in, very good into LeBlanc, but can also opt in for something like the Akali Sylas, which is more Vetheo style. As I say that, Ryze is still open. Also a very high prio pick on this patch.
I like it with the phase rush, short range, get a lot of tankiness if you go the Fimbulwinter build.
Also good peel against Tryndamere.
Yeah, run away. Reducing slows, certainly helpful against the Tryndamere when he tries to spin and scream at you.
And now Braum, I was going to say, yeah, it's just the best pick in a way because they have Graves, they have Leona, they have Jinx. Braum is always good into those 3 champions. Helps win the lane, but of course, later on, Leona will be more useful on point and click engage. They already have Jarvan for engage. Rakan would be ideal for follow-up, but that's banned away. So Braum makes the most sense. Something like Galio could also work, but again, do you want to sacrifice the lane so much? Let's focus more on lane here, I think. And they're going to go for Tahm Kench, as I say that towards the end. A bit confusing because they don't have that much dive on Misfits, but maybe just trying to make it so Patrik's safe while Nukeduck, Markoon, and Finn are just diving on their carries.
And generally, Tahm Kench still good into melee champions on the opposite side, even after all of the changes. Yes, he does not have access to the Devour early on, but now he has the knockup and he follow-up CC if Aphelios is able to land the Gravitum snare. So we'll see how this lane works out. I'm inclined to agree with you. It doesn't feel like there's a super massive backline threat that justifies a Tahm Kench pick, but not confident enough in my knowledge of the 2v2 to say, questionable. So we'll just have to see how it works out.
So both comps looking at XL's mid-jungle 2v2 here, very powerful against Misfits, of course, because the Ryze is a mobile, but they have a lot of ways to fight back with this Lee Sin Ryze. Mid 2v2 will be very important in going towards top side, I think. I mean, if the Graves is ahead, the Tryndamere is going to struggle to get back in the game when it gets Hullbreaker, and vice versa. If the Tryndamere is ahead, the Graves will struggle to get the push. Bot lane, very stale in a way. Tahm Kench should get the push. A lot of trading, but the gank setup's more so on Misfits side, I'd say.
There's the caster curse of just cursing a team with a monologue, and there's the caster curse of we're going to focus on bot lane. Both these AD carries are playing out of their mind. Immediately solo laners pick the most explosive, most interesting matchups we can possibly hope for.
Didn't happen last game.
So screw the bot lane. We'll talk about it if it gets interesting. We're going to focus on the Tryndamere, the first Tryndamere in EU history. What a time to be alive. It's not a time I'm particularly happy about, but maybe it'll be one that is quite successful. Gonna have to see, because for now it's time for a tight matchup between Misfits and Excel Gaming.
Cat jams over.
I was gonna say, I was kind of hoping they just kept that music running into
Throughout
the
the whole
early
game?
Until someone kills somebody, we just keep it chill.
And then the music drops. Bow, bow.
Get the dubstep drop. We're also 0 for 2 on tosses to game. I definitely botched that one. Sorry, Excel and Misfits Gaming, not Misfits and Excel Gaming.
That was funny. That was funny. I don't know if they could hear us, but I was laughing a bit.
Caedrel, none of that matters.
Oh, Halo
Look,
Blades,
bot lane.
Kench, I saw it too.
Halo Blades, TK. Ladies and gentlemen, I just need you to understand this. No matter what champion you are playing,
Kind of say Drakos just like slammed the desk and was just like jumping around.
well, okay, so actually, Mickey is the one who converted me to the Church of Halo Blades, I should say, because he called me a dirty inter for not playing it one time. So, TLDR, Halo Blades, one of the most ludicrously OP masteries in the game in the early levels, because, fun fact, auto attacks hit like a truck at level 1. If you're not building damage the later you go in the game, it's going to suck. But for champions like Pyke, for champions like Tahm, Kench, and a melee matchup, 3 quick auto attacks is infinitely more valuable than something like an Aerie early on.
Yeah, and just converting that to the top side. Halo Blades bots will make it a lot more trading, but top side again, HiRit Ghost on Graves to kite the Tryndamere Ghost. Finn, of course, running Ghost on Tryndamere to gap close. No TPs on top side. Expecting both junglers to play for that. As I say that, XL looking for a late invade. Not very normal that you invade on a Jarvan. Of course, very weak level 1, but I suppose because they have the Aphelios Tahm Kench, they think they're strong enough. Will Neon spot them out? Yes, he will. 3v3 begins.
Stepping forward. Pretty confident. Again, if they fully commit to the Tahm Kench, he's going to be strong in the fight, but he doesn't offer a whole lot of utility. Tongue Lash to start, and Shlatan is just going to be forced to pick up the Raptors. Or is he? Markoon coming to interrupt. Again, the first few levels for Jarvan are infinitely stronger when it comes to gank impact compared to the Lee Sin. So keeping both champions low level is certainly not bad for the side of Excel.
Okay, smart play there from Markoon because he knows Shlatan's going to level up on Raptors and then go towards Markoon's red maybe. So let's go. Oh, here he goes.
Flash flag and drag, getting the flash out early.
Okay, so Markoon wants to defend his red buff and he's going to take Vetheo's flash for it. Remember how we were talking about Jarvan where if you do nothing in the early game, you're griefing at 15 minutes with no kills, no flash taken? Well, there goes Markoon's attempt already. Vetheo, no flash, will make the Ryze very vulnerable. Finn's going to try to get level 2 here. He's playing on the wave, so Graves can't hit him.
Pot already missing, though.
Taking a lot of damage, but he has the Q sustain, of course. He can just kind of spam that on cooldown.
And remember, the big name of the game here is that Tryndamere will outscale any CC-less champion. Is just going to be able to get the Gale Force, Navori Quick Blades.
It's a very funny side lane matchup to watch when it's kind of 3 items because the Graves is just kind of trying to lifesteal through the Tryndamere's damage while he's just bonking on him and he can't really kite. And the Tryndamere naturally builds Mortal Reminder to deny that. So Tryndamere, most cases, wins out, but with the Hullbreaker Graves build, it'll make the first item, second item a bit more safe for the Graves, I think, as Shlatan is going to take away his blue, get level 3, hover towards top, Vetheo has mid push. Here comes the 3-man dive. We talked about how important top lane matchup is. No TP for Finn. If he dies, he's going to lose this wave.
Mid push, top push, bot push. Things are going very well for Misfits early on. What are they going to do with it? Well, it looks like Ghost away. No TP, though. Makes that a bit awkward. Finn just trying to wait it out. I think just going to see. As soon as the wave starts to dissipate, he can go back to under the tower. Still has to be careful, but still has his flash.
You know, if it was the old TP days, that ward that Shlatan just put, Vetheo would just TP back and oh, dive again.
He's trapped.
But can't do that anymore. They don't have any CC to lock the Tryndamere down, so diving is very risky unless Finn takes an extremely bad trade. He will lose a few creeps and a little bit of experience, and the trade-off for XL is Vetheo losing his TP. So that should help Nukeduck push in the wave, take a base. We'll see if he wants to TP back. But Finn already struggling in this lane, but Tryndamere will be able to sustain his health back up.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on it as we go later. For now, only a 1 CS advantage to the Graves. Nukeduck now able to push back Vetheo. Of course, Nukeduck just fishing for a recall here. With Vetheo with a phase rush able to dash out of that trade.
That's a small thing, because Vetheo has no TP, and Nukeduck is going to TP back. So any health he takes from Vetheo is always going to be a net positive for him, because he's going to base in TP anyway. So gets a potion out of Vetheo, he's going to base eventually, TP back, and he'll have a net potion advantage for that trade. Needs to be careful he doesn't die though, of course. And we saw on screen there, Markoon tried to take away Shlatan's red, which he left up because he ganked mid, but Misfits bot lane identified that, stopped him from doing so, so that'll help Shlatan a lot. Losing those Raptors early on won't really hurt him at all.
And I want to go back to something the desk said, because this is the only time we're going to talk about it. Bot lanes. Neon versus Patrik. Okay, well, we're going to take that one down. Whoopsie. They're explosive. They have insane stats. But I want to tell you right now, folks, right now they don't matter. And you know how I know they don't matter? Because Neon just told me they don't matter. He bought a Cole, nothing is happening bot lane. And as I say that, caster curse, it's never been faster in my entire life. They're fighting flat forward for Mersa. It's a bit sloppy. Patrik has the purple gun for the setup. Maybe they get something done. Markoon healing up with the smite, turning back on Shlatan. Shlatan flash out clean. Now the Leona being locked down. The Tahm Kench is so tanky early on. Neon fishing for the reset, looking to lock down Markoon. Markoon doesn't have any more cooldowns, and Vetheo is on the way. Patrik going to be in trouble. He's got terrible guns for a fight. But LeBlanc coming over the wall as well. Shlatan misses the Q. It might not matter. Patrik is going to get taken down. Neon with 2 quick kills, and meanwhile, Graves and Tryndamere fighting to the death on the top side of the map. It's action everywhere.
Yes, flash. Finn might have to flash away here, but HiRit can follow! The turret gets cancelled because I think he dodges away from it last second. A lot of explosion on the map. You brought up bot lane, a fight starts. 2 kills over to Neon. Patrik was trying to dodge away. A lot of, again, micro plays from Mechanics in that fight. And it all started off with Mersa flashing forwards. Vetheo was there. Nukeduck arrives too. All the wards are placed. All the summoners are blown. And it's kind of even trades. Nukeduck gets killed. Patrik gets killed. Neon gets 2. Kind of a disadvantageous fight for Misfits, but still, they come out even.
Yep. Really good, all things considered, because dying there and then allowing the enemy team to crash a wave when you do not have a TP, you do not have the luxury of coming back to that bot lane, could have been the end of the laning phase, but let's take a look at it again.
So, Markoon EQ's over here to steal the Crux because Mickey's around. Now watch Mersa. He knows Markoon has no combo, but he's going to try to E-flash. Markoon reads it and sidesteps the E, so that buys him so much time to kite Shlatan away, smite as well, so eventually he gets EQ back up and turns. But Mersa is extremely tanky on Leona. Exhaust onto Jinx to buy time. Markoon has no flash from earlier on in the mid gank. He falls 1 for 1. Both mid laners arrive. Patrik, again, good mechanics. Flashes the Jinx W, and now watch Zlatan's Q. He sees the ward jump Q, sidesteps it last second. What does that do? Buy time, so they can make it a 2 for 2. Really well played from both sides.
Super clean back and forth there. And you can also see the identities of Lee Sin and Jarvan. Jarvan in the initial exchange, EQ forward, big damage. But as the fight goes on, he has to smite the Gromp. He has to survive. And in those longer fights, even with Shlatan low, he is going to come out on top. And love the fact that it's already neck and neck.
Oh, Mickey has flash, and he can get a knock up here. He has Hail of Blades for the early game damage, of course, as well. But he has to be careful that Mersa doesn't jump on his AD carry. Patrik has Cleanse to kite it out.
The big thing, too, is with Glacial,
nothing.
Mersa's pretty squishy. Obviously has the luxury of the Eclipse, so not too scared quite yet.
Yeah, and for Misfits, it's all about playing through bot, and so is it for XL, because you don't have any setup topside. There's no setup for the Graves Tryndamere, unless you get mid-jungle there, you can flash.
Flag, drag, that's the follow-up, the setup, the purple gun doing some work, and man, they made that look easy.
Shutdown for Patrik. Of course, Neon no flash, we just talked about it. Markoon's was used in the mid-gank, so his is up first, and they're gonna gank bot. So, we expected top lane to be a lot of fighting. Misfits tried an early dive. Mid-jungle is the only one who can really impact that top matchup because there's not much setup. And in the end, they're going to play towards bot. Since that bot fight, here comes Vetheo. He's going to join the fight. Mickey has flash.
Here comes Mickey. The knockup not quite going to be timed correctly. Cleanse out. Doesn't have flash, so good that he's able to escape. Ultimately, nothing going to come from that. Just getting the ulti out from Vetheo.
So now the map kind of descends into a weird state here where Neon has to catch mid-wave. Finn's going to pop the Ghost.
Ghost running him down. Slowly but surely, level 6 is there for Tryndamere. Lethal tempo fully procced. He's going in. Hear it run.
No flash.
Run, hear it run. Turret.
Oh, no. Finn had no flash early on. Here comes Markoon. Does HiRit have a dash? He's not going to go for it. Markoon has no flash either, so he can't hit the flag and drag. So you can basically see how the matchup works. Tryndamere just got, oh, here we go.
Oh, no, it's never going to
slow.
stop. Neon knocked up. Nukeduck there with the chains. It's murder across the map. Mickey, though, they're not able to find the kill, and Neon's going to turn it. They don't quite have the damage.
Where's Nukeduck's W? I think he might have used it to gap close there. So yeah, they lack damage. Mickey doesn't have Ignite, of course. There's fighting all across the map. Misfits coming out on top with the solo kill. And now this mid play going in their favor might lead to a Herald as well, of course, because Mickey's dead. No vision for the side of XL.
I'm still reeling at your call. Does he have a dash? Bro, it's fine. It's just someone clip it and send it to me. That's my only request. Keep your eyes on this Herald.
Oh, he missed the Herald.
That's going to be big.
He should know that they're on it, though. Mark can use the E for vision.
It's too late.
Doesn't get the vision. I
Free
mean,
Herald pickup?
if he did EQ into the pit, he would have lost his life. He's going to go on to Shlatan. Shlatan's going to W away. And yeah, Markoon, if he popped the Blast Cone, even if he tried to steal it, he would have died because he has no flash. He can't get out. XL collapsed, but of course the mid play leads to a Herald for Misfits. As look at the replay, this is the top fight. So
yes, Tryndamere.
It's just gonna pop Ghost, stack up the lethal tempo, get a full bar and look for crits. And of course, if he gets good RNG and good crits, then HiRit will die faster. But if he doesn't, then he doesn't die faster. HiRit's flashing away. They both have tier 2 boots, so they're quite quick.
Oh!
But, oh, the dash away last second. He needed one more auto still. If Finn had flash, he would have got the kill. Nice try on the gap close, but didn't work out in the end.
Damn. Well,
oh, those Tryndamere items look so sad.
they look very sad. Credit to HiRit for surviving there. If he dies, it's very different. And sorry, Finn, just unlucky, I guess. Good players crit more. What can we say?
So the map's in a weird state now where XL have put their bot lane top. HiRit's gonna match them. Finn needs to swap with Nukeduck, and then the map will go back to a normal state.
But crucially, chaos across the map. And a reminder that as much fun as we're having in this chaotic early game with these new picks and these crazy champions, that this is still a very high-stakes game. As we take a look at the standings, remember that these two teams are neck and neck, 7-4 to 6-5. So take a breath, look at the chaos, embrace it a little bit. But remember, this is not an early season game that means nothing. This is a crucial matchup in terms of head-to-head. Mikyx locked up. Thick Skin going to buy him just a tiny bit of time, but not nearly enough. Markoon debating if he can go over the wall. Patrik's got good guns, but they just cannot afford to take the fight.
He was thinking about it, but the map is not in a good state for
Shlatan going
XL.
in, fishing for it. Patrik respects it, though. Just going to kick him back. Herald can be used in the mid lane. They can look to break this one down, but instead they will just back away.
Okay, they get Patrick's flash. That should lead to a free dragon if they want. Markoon has been spotted in the bot side river, so Misfits need to push him out. Everything's going in favor of Misfits right now. They have mid push. Nukeduck's kind of been sitting in bot lane, isolated from the rest of his team for the whole game. Vetheo's been roaming around the map, still has an even CS, and Neon's been picking up a couple kills. So map stayed in Misfits' favor. They're going to get the dragon. They still have the Herald from mid tower as well. We'll see if they decide to use it. They're going to stay on the map. Ryze ultimate, Patrik no flash.
Patrik needs to find a way out of this one. Mikyx in the area, Markoon in the area. The flash forward. Mersa going to lock him up. Easy kill pickup. Mikyx and Markoon going to be forced away. And right now, Misfits are dominating XL in all of these exchanges. Finn getting bodied on the top side, 25 CS down to HiRit. He can walk up, he can take plates, he can take Finn's life bar too. Things are going from bad to worse very quickly for XL.
Yeah, 2 plates to HiRit, a solo kill, a big CS lead, so top winning in isolation, and the jungle support of Misfits is just roaming around the map so much better than XL. Mikyx face checking, dies. Markoon looks for a bot play on his own, gets pushed out. Patrik tries to push a midwave, gets collapsed on. Misfits is running around as a death ball, whereas XL are very, very split up on the map. HiRit no flash.
HiRit, can he do the best Shy impression? Can he make it out of this one? He's got the Ghost. He's going to dash through. Cataclysm comes out. He's not going to be able to use the ultimate. He is slowly but surely going to get burned down. Flash in for Finn. That's a cheeky solo Q move. Is going to get the kill.
Yeah, he's just kind of worried. Hang on a second. Shlatan flash Q misses. Tries to gap close onto Markoon because Vetheo TP'd in, but he was scared that HiRit would get the auto attacks to get the E back up to dash away, so Finn just wants to make sure he's dead.
And I don't know if I'm just reeling from that first game, but it feels like in this match as well, players are playing with zero fear. No hesitation to immediately flash Q, to go for these big, aggressive plays. And it's not always working out, but it just feels like there's so much tension in this game because of how chaotic, because of how crazy these players have been willing to play.
Yeah, non-stop from the jungle spot of Misfits. Non-stop picks and fights in the top side, and bot side, I should say. But first tower is going to fall in favor of Misfits. Vetheo is farming up on this Ryze. Gets the first tower gold. We'll make sure it crashes on the second time. And this Tryndamere is only level 9 right now. Probably sitting on a hefty amount of gold, but still needs to get that Gale Force, needs to get Navori Quick Blades, things like this. Mortal Reminder to really get his spikes. And then he should be able to match his Graves on side in a lot easier. But as I say that, HiRit's picked up the Hullbreaker, so he'll be quite tanky on this side lane for now, and we'll be pretty safe. And Misfits are keeping the bot push.
The question, of course, is how long can HiRit keep this an isolated 1v1 XL? Do they want to reassign in lanes? I don't think anyone can stand toe-to-toe with this Graves, but certainly Finn can't just afford to be pushed under his tower over and over again. The rest of Misfits, with HiRit putting so much pressure on the top side, have a lot of opportunities to make plays across the map.
Yeah, but I think for XL, Nukeduck's back in mid now, so they need to play through mid. Nukeduck's been very quiet. They tried that kill on mid onto Neon. They didn't have the damage. LeBlanc's not really been in any of these plays apart from that bot skirmish, so can XL start to play through mid now? Get their jungle support towards mid, unlock Nukeduck to take these pinks in the bot side river so they can start contesting the bot side of the map.
You can see Misfits already with so much vision on that bottom side. So they're going to need to push out, take away the vision, push out again before they really get any license to make a play. That said, Mikyx stepping up, looking to clear that vision now.
Dangerous.
Has to be careful as he does so. Doesn't know where Ryze is, doesn't know where Lee Sin is.
Yeah, very disjointed, isn't it? Markoon wants to do his red buff, but he's scared HiRit's going to steal it away. Mickey wants to take bot side vision. Nukeduck's catching a wave. HiRit has so much top pressure right now that he's going to force the red buff of XL. Nukeduck and Markoon are collapsing. He has flash and a blast cone to work with, but if the chain hits...
It's also level 8 Jarvan, and it's a level 10 It's just such a broken item in these situations because, yes, they can pick the fight, but killing him is going to take so much time. And Vetheo has that ulti up and available, something that has to be respected.
Yeah, he has 110 armor right now in isolation. With the grid passive stacking up, he'll have a lot more depending on how many he has. But Mickey's going to look for a play on bot. Neon has flash.
1Q hitting is all that matters. They're not able to connect it, though, so play will instantly fizzle. Patrik does have the ultimate, but did not want to burn it there.
Yeah, I think Mickey was trying to predict the sidestep from Neon, and then the ultimate follow-up would come through, but the slow doesn't hit, so Patrik doesn't feel confident enough to toss it out. Here it is. Jungle support team up from XL. Sweep away this bot side vision. They're giving up a mid-wave right now for it, though, but they're trying to contest some control. But look what Misfits are doing. They're beelining to the top side of the map. They know their bot side control is going, so maybe they can look for a play up towards Finn. This top tier 2's low. Herald spawning soon as well, so now that XL have re-established this vision, there's no objective.
Well, it's just so hard right now for XL to play the game because in these situations where you've got Tryndamere who wants to be strong on a side lane, you've got Nukeduck who wants to be strong on a side lane, when HiRit's this far ahead, when Veteo's going this is even and is this comfortable in the lane, it just feels so hard for them to get anything done. They're just clearing waves back and forth, which Ryze is happy to do. Graves is winning every time he pushes a wave out. The CS lead still holding, and he's now working towards the shield bow.
And this comes back to our questions around the Tahm Kench pick. Yes, you have Jarvan for engage, but if that's your only kind of single engage that XL has to force plays, it can be unreliable at times because Misfits, if they track Markoon well, then they know that they're safe on side lanes. And Mickey's just kind of there as a defensive tool. So Misfits have so many more options on the map. They can play towards the Leona, they can play towards the Ryze, they can play towards the Graves with top push right now and play for a tower. They're going mid for Nukeduck here.
Easy setup. Splitting the wave a little bit. Someone will have to go top shortly, but for now it's just going to be the Herald crash to break open mid lane tower. Again, massive. XL would prefer to be the ones breaking down mid lane tower, freeing up the LeBlanc to roam through Fog of War. Instead, it's Misfits in control of the game. Also, 4,000 gold lead in their favor. XL, not a lot of tools to fight back, especially as Finn pushes on the top side. They're trying to pick off Mikyx. Has to wait for the CC to come through before he uses the W, but Neon's been picked off on the side. They split. Neon left exposed, and Mickey not going down quite yet, getting kicked back, and out comes the ulti. Markoon locking down Shlatan. The Ryze now moving in as well. Shlatan going to get taken out. The rest of Misfits have arrived, but Patrik is standing strong. Markoon has no cooldowns left. That should be a quick, easy pickup for the side of Misfits, and the rest of XL now on the retreat. Absolute chaos in the pit.
Yeah, but it's a 2 for 2. So even trades across the board, and it was a 4v5 from XL. Look at Finn, he's just hitting top tower. He's gonna get a full top tower for this. So net positive for XL for now. Dragon's still up, but no junglers. Does Misfits want to move towards it? Bot tower's up as well. HiRit has the whole breaker, and very, very split fights coming in from both sides.
Again, absolute chaos there in the exchange. Still 3K gold lead for the side of Misfits. They're gonna grab the second Drake here. XL able to get a few kills back. That's gonna be important, especially the kill onto Neon. He has now completed the Kraken Slayer, getting stronger and stronger. With the Cole fully stacked, he did opt to sell it. Nukeduck getting frisky here, has to be careful though. Locked up, Vetheo now just gonna zoom out to safety. HiRit trying to dash away, Snare comes in, but the dash over the wall comes out too. Cannot lock that Graves down.
Yeah, XL saw Neon catching top wave, so they thought maybe we can just force a fight here, maybe blow a summoner spell, but in the end they're gonna get nothing. And as you take a look at the replay, it was very, very split. Mickey's on one side, Misfits trying to collapse on him. But on the other side, you've got Markoon trying to fight against Neon. So Misfits, the pick initially looks good. Let's just kill the Tahm Kench. He's in the pit. He has flash. We can chase him, but then you leave your AD carry vulnerable. So now you've got Shlatan versus Mickey, Markoon and the rest of XL versus Neon. The 1-for-1 comes in, and eventually Vetheo joins the fight, repositioning his team with the Ryze ult. You can see they're in bot side river right now, but they can't actually collapse if XL keep running away. By the time they come in, Markoon has no combo, has no flash, and they make it a 2-for-2. In all that meantime, Finn's been hitting top tower.
Good news is they are able to get that tower back. Finn is getting stronger. We always feel like the Tryndamere is the source of inevitability. He has the Gale Force now, a little bit more threat to help him chase down the Graves. You highlighted it earlier. It's a battle of lifesteal versus Tryndamere just refusing to die as part of his kit.
And important to note, just going to highlight here, all the 3 of these towers are so low. The mid Herald crashed on the mid tier 2. The first Herald crashed on the top tier 2, and HiRit got bot damage. So there's a lot of standing gold on the map for Misfits right now.
Which means this 3K gold lead can explode if XL lose another fight. Going to be massive too, as HiRit just continues to push on the top side. They might not even have to win a fight for him to grab this tower, because realistically, Finn cannot kill him fast enough to stop this.
And that's the thing. You think of fights, a kill, 2 kills, 300, 600 gold, but what are the consequences? And the consequences are different depending on how the map state is. If you have waves to play on, if the towers are low, and in this case, like you said, it's going to be an explosion of gold if Misfits do win a fight. XL needs to be very careful. Nukeduck's going to push top all the way in so they can't play on those waves, and XL are going to try to defend mid for now.
4 members strong in the mid lane. HiRit keeping Tryndamere occupied, but Tryndamere has first roam, so maybe they can turn it into 4v4. Mikyx again locked up. The chain CC is there. Patrik firing back with a bit of damage, but Mikyx locked down. The tower falling. Nukeduck coming in with the TP, and that's big. That's 2 kills for Patrik. It's Finn on the backside. He might not be able to kill the Graves, but he can sure as hell kill Neon. Ask Vetheo to run. There's no CC here. There's no follow-up. They cannot lock down any more members, but it's a clean play for Excel.
And the question we were just talking about for Misfits, if they win a fight, it's going to be an explosion of gold. Excel win a fight, and there's nothing to play for. They have no waves, no towers are low. They're just going to have to back off. They get 3 kills. Yes, Patrik gets a triple kill. That's huge. Your Aphelios is back in the game. But they aren't going to be able to blow the game wide open. There's no Baron to play for. And Finn gets himself a kill as well. So game slightly stabilized. Maybe a bit of an overdive there from Misfits. Mikyx, of course, Tahm, Kench quite tanky. Using a lot of resources to kill him, including the kick. Means they're very vulnerable. Incredible engage here from Nukeduck with the TP. Collapse on both of the carries of Misfits. Or should I say jungle support. Patrik with the explosion of the auto attack gets 2. And then from there, Finn on the flank. Neon can't really do anything. Can't run away from this Tryndamere whatsoever.
And that's the big thing. Graves not bad into the Tryndamere early on. Any AD carry ever, very bad into the Tryndamere. It's going to be a struggle as the game gets later. Even when Neon has enough items, he's going to need a lot of help, a lot of support, a lot of peel from the remaining members of his team.
And we were talking about the AD carry matchup of Neon versus Patrik. Patrik's last 3 wins were on Aphelios. He beat Vitality with Aphelios. He beat Fnatic, BDS and Fnatic with Aphelios. Who did Neon beat? He beat Rogue, he beat BDS with what? Jinx, and they both have these champions. These are their kind of prime champions to carry games, and they did so last week.
And you can see the impact of numbers. You saw these already on the analyst desk, but just out of this world numbers, 2 incredible weeks of performances from both players respectively. And we talked about it. Jinx is the reliable one of the equation. Jinx is always going to give you a similar effect in a team fight. The reset's absolutely massive. Patrik, the pressure is on him to make more out of this pick, but Nukeduck caught out. Flash out to safety though. Ulti just barely not connecting there.
Oh, his distortion ran out. He tried to W forwards and poke Mersa there, and the second he tried to W back, it was gone. So he had to use his flash. He doesn't have TP either. Misfits could force a Baron here, but it's extremely risky at 20 minutes in the game. And we haven't talked much about Vetheo, but he's been farming up a storm. 203 has a 300 gold shutdown, building towards those tank items. And he's going to be one of the main peelers for Neon to kind of get this Tryndamere off him with the roots, with the Leona next to him. I feel like Misfits, if you overdive, the Tryndamere is going to have the backline exposed. If you play together, you should be able to kite back.
Fimbulwinter Frozen Heart is also just so infuriating for Aphelios J4 and Tryndamere to deal with. On top of the phase rush, that's going to be a hard man to lock down and a hard man to get away from. But still waiting a little bit longer for that cooldown. Instantly the engage comes out though. Absolute confidence on the flash forward, but now unstoppable. Mikyx trying to eat, but Patrik now the one who pays the price. He saves Markoon, but at the cost of his AD carry's life. That was not the devour they needed. Mikyx now on the run. 4K advantage for Misfits, only going to grow. Misfits dominating in that exchange.
Yeah, 20 seconds on Dragon though, so the decision here is, do you go towards Baron because the bot lane of XL is dead and give up this 3rd Dragon Soul point that you could sit on? Looks like that's what they're going to do. They have the damage for it, but Markoon's basing. Will he get back in time to look for a steal? This Baron's going to go down quickly. Can Nukeduck slow down the Baron with some kind of poke? If not, this Baron's going to be there. Finn's on the way. He has Ghost up and soon has Gale Force, has Ultimate.
Still a kick. A lot of tools to keep him out of the pit. 2.5k. Nothing they can do. That's Baron for Misfits. XL getting over eager, trying to force something, but it turns against them.
Yeah, Vetheo has TP and Shlatan staying on the map. Maybe they just want to fight again to make sure XL can't take away this Dragon from them. They have the Baron, resets are coming in. HiRit and Neon are very far away, and Mersa's going in.
Finn goes in, or Finn, early Gale Force is going to cost him in the fight to come.
Patrik and Mikyx on the way. It's going to be a 5v5. Waves are crashing on both side lanes. Nukeduck looking for some poke, won't land it. HiRit is here now, and so is Neon. Ultimates are up.
Patrik with the ulti, Shlatan with the kick and the flash up and available. Can look to be the playmaker. Finn coming over the wall, looking to isolate Neon. Neon just now sees the Tryndamere, but it's going to try to generate as much space as he can. Who's going to be able to grab the Drake? Instantly, Patrik trying to get the fight kicked off. Good damage coming in, and they're able to take away the Drake. Markoon stealing that one. HiRit chasing down Finn, but that's one fast Tryndamere. Rocket! Woo!
The snipe comes in from Neon. Maybe they would have wasted a lot of time chasing that Tryndamere around the map, but Neon says not today. And they have a top wave to play on. Maybe they can rotate into that. We talked about the amount of standing gold Misfits have on the map, and this tier 2 top is one of it.
And the big thing is, wave clear is difficult for this team. It is hard for them to deal with it, especially if they play on multiple waves right now. Putting multiple members forward, Patrik really the only reliable source. Nukeduck has to put his face into the minion wave to try to clear away these Baron-empowered creeps. So Misfits, yes, they lose out on the Drake. Yes, they lose out on that soul point, but are going to continue to extend their gold lead as they break down this top tier 2.
Good news for XL, objective bounties have kicked in because Misfits have the gold lead, they have the dragons, XP leads as well, so they got the objective bounty on the dragon. The bad news is these fights are not going in their favor whatsoever. I think Shlatan looked for a little bit of a steal here, but he goes in very early. And he ends up losing his life. Finn, of course, trying his best to take down the jungler, so it makes it easier for Markoon to secure the dragon. But again, here Shlatan is way too far forwards and out of positioning. Misfits can't really follow up, and it ends up in a 1-for-1 trade.
Well, objective bounty comes out as well. Definitely nice to have. Finn, not quite able to escape.
Oh, the shaking of the screen effect.
Oh, man, I can't. Observers, you're fighting Neon right now for MVP if Misfits win this one.
And Misfits, we talked about them last year, losing some of their star players. We look at their kind of past finishes as a team. It really does feel like they were one game away from Worlds. You know, they had the super team at Worlds and they almost beat T1. And now 8th, 7th, 4th was a fantastic finish for them. But if they win this game, they're solidified 4th, maybe even 3rd.
Absolutely. And I think it's important to highlight that that was 4th, but they've lost so many players. Razor expected to be the heart of this team's early game, but now so many other players stepping up. Shlatan on the signature Lee Sin, the pick that made him so successful in the ERLs, having such impact. And on top of that, across the board, winning out in the early lane phase. HiRit finally seeing that performance, that level that he's been wanting to show but has been unable to do. It's a good look for Misfits.
And because Astralis beat Fnatic in game 1 of today, if Misfits win this game, they're tied with Fnatic for 3rd place in the LEC. Who would have thought, with rookies coming in like Shlatan and Mersa, Neon stepping from Schalke across and just keeping the core of the solo laners. Fantastic split from them so far. It's not over yet though, as they tried to siege the bot tier 2.
Technical difficulties, it looks like, with the timers and the gold. You can ignore that for now. Focus on the action in front of the screen. We'll have that fixed as soon as we can. What's important here is checking in across the board on the itemization. Almost 3 items coming in for Neon. 4 going the Infinity Edge now instead to get the Lord Dominic's. Big damage against so many high health targets on the opposite side. It's going to be key. Execution in the next fight. It feels like if Excel lose this one, rather, Misfits can just end the game. They certainly have enough powerful members. Graves is only getting scarier.
Yeah, Excel are just going to run straight into Misfits' bot side jungle, take away their red, put deep side vision so Nukeduck can walk up and hit this bot tower. Here it's pinging the top tier 3 though, so we've got a bit of a cross map coming in here from both side lanes. Nukeduck's going to back away, Finn's going to base and catch top wave, so nothing will come of it. But the ideas are there from both teams. They just want to trade for now and wait for these neutrals to spawn.
Certainly do. Keep your eyes up in the upper left and right-hand corners of the screen. Those timers are not up to date, sadly. We'll keep an eye then instead on the minimap and on the pit. Both the Dragon and the Baron, see those respawn timers to see the next big catalyst for a fight. Reminder, Misfits are at 2 Drakes. And Excel were able to steal away 1. The single mountain is HiRit. Looks like he still wins that 1v1.
Yep, he's a bit too far ahead of the Tryndamere for now. Upper level has the items in his pocket to be tanky enough, and of course Finn doesn't have any healing reduction to deny the Graves through the lifesteal, building towards that Bloodthirster 3rd for HiRit. And we'll see how the game goes. Finn could build towards Navori Quick Blades, could also go for Mortal Reminder to make the side lane easier. Nukeduck's here to collapse though, HiRit.
HiRit, ghosting, gonna make it really hard to connect anything meaningful. Flash out, but the chain hitting is everything. HiRit, Mortal Shield Bow now coming out. That's gonna be ulti forced away from Finn. HiRit is gonna get taken down. It takes all 4 members. Meanwhile, the rest of Misfits barreling down the bottom lane, looking to break down a few towers in the meantime. Recall's just now coming out. Inhibitor tower should fall here as Neon and Vetheo will shred through this one.
Yeah, Excel need to base and defend this as soon as possible. You have a numbers advantage, and you have engage tools, so Misfits are going to have to start to respect this eventually. They are going to get the tower in the end, so 2 towers trade for a shutdown onto Finn. That's going to help Excel in the side lanes, but still, more overall gold over to Misfits. You can see on the minimap, Dragon spawning soon, Baron spawning soon. Don't have the exact timers, of course, but Excel looks like they want to prioritize this Dragon for now, trying to push Misfits away, slow down their bases so they can keep some kind of map control.
Doing what they can. Definitely feels like Excel are holding on by a thread. And again, high stakes match. 2 teams neck and neck for playoffs contention. Excel on an excellent winning streak. Both teams actually on an excellent winning streak coming into this one. And in the early game, it felt like Misfits have come out on top. But in the late game fights, it's really all that's going to matter.
So Excel slowed down Misfits' base and they want to force this Dragon. But you can see Misfits is just running towards the top side of the map. Excel need to retake some kind of control there. Otherwise, Misfits might find themselves a Nash rush. Patrik so close to the Infinity Edge. A lot of spikes for Excel on the way.
We've reverted back to the old school overlay as we look to fix those technical difficulties, but for now those gold numbers are going to be up to date. keep you posted on timers. Baron is up and available. Dragon was just taken. Those dragons on the screen are cracked, and now the engage coming out. Finn dashing out to safety. The kickback from Shlatan is clean, picking off the jungler. Mickey running for the hills. Patrik, big damage over the wall, and now nobody wants to take that realm warp, and I can't blame him.
Oh, that was a 5-man ult there from Patrik, so Misfits are scarred. They're really damaged here. They need to lifesteal up, get some regen base, restock on wards. They killed the jungler. If they didn't overextend there, maybe they could have forced a Baron, but Patrik stops that play from happening. XL have a mid-wave. They can look for this mid-tier 1, as Misfits, I think, are starting up the Baron. Mersa's running from base.
Crucial gold back into the back pockets of Excel, but it might not matter if the second Baron of the game goes in favor of Misfits. A little bit of extra for everybody. Patrik in the area, not great guns for the AoE. Mikyx taking a lot of damage. They're trying to knock away the support, trying to deny that Devour value, and suddenly Neon flashing out to safety. Finn immediately into the back line. He does so much damage. One more crit. Is it going to be enough? He goes in. He's able to take him down. Patrik still fighting for his life. Patrik doing so much work, and would it be Excel if it didn't feel like Patrik versus the world as Finn runs away, but they managed to stall the Baron for now.
Yeah, Finn might be behind, but he did his job perfectly. Got on top of Neon and managed to kill their AD carry. Patrik was dishing out so much damage with the green and white gun. And for now, Misfits, despite getting a pick onto the jungler, they aren't able to force this Baron. They're going to back off. XL's going to back off as well. Patrik will have an Infinity Edge in base, we expect. And the game will slow down once again. Again, Nukeduck close to that Revenons. A lot of spikes that XL have been building towards are on the way, despite Misfits having this 6,000 gold lead. And Finn picking up those kills has got him towards 3 items.
And a 3-item Patrik as well. Truly terrifying. Neon gets hard from here, to say the least, as the Tryndamere is now essentially fully online. He's going to have 100% crit chance when he has that Fury up, and it's going to make Neon's life a living hell.
Let's watch Patrik here for a couple seconds, because look how much damage he does. Puts the turret in, starts hitting onto Shlatan, and then they try to turn onto Mickey, and that's where Patrik really starts to shred through the rest of Misfits. Nukeduck on the side as well, buying so much time, forces Neon's flash. Finn comes in around the side. Neon, no summoners, he dies. Patrik juggling the guns so well, dishing out so much damage, and Misfits, because they used their turn onto the Tahm Kench, Patrik was free hitting this entire time. Nukeduck in picture might be caught out here. Shlatan looking for him.
Shlatan, if that Q connects, you know, he would probably try to commit for it, but is not going to work out. Misfits not able to take that Baron is massive. Gives XL more time to scale up. It's still a 6k gold deficit, but Mountain is just around the corner.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem for XL right now is Vetheo. 1,000 gold shutdown, incredibly tanky, dishes out so much damage, level 16 on this Ryze. And Nukeduck would be a threat as well if he can finish the Rabadons. Not so much a threat as same as Vetheo, but he needs to jump forwards, poke out the AD carry, poke out HiRit, and jump back. That's the job of the LeBlanc until the fight kicks off. And then Finn's just there to clean up. Patrik does as much damage as you can, whereas for Misfits, Vetheo kind of needs to kite back, do some DPS while tanking a lot of the skills, so Neon can be freed up a bit.
It just feels like Misfits have a bit more flexibility in terms of how they execute the fight, as long as they can protect Neon, HiRit, and Vetheo, both highly mobile in these fights. The Ghost for HiRit, the insane movement speed that's going to come for a Ryze with Force of Nature. Misfits starting this one with confidence. Markoon in the area.
Finn, no TP. He was catching bot wave, so it's going to be a 5v4 for a little bit. We'll see if they just want to 50-50 it.
Willing to risk it. Jarvan flag can't deny that vision. Is he willing to go over the wall? 2k going in. Shlatan kicking him, but he's still back into the pit. They're going to take him down before they burst it out, but can't. Who's going to get the Baron in the end? In the end, it's going to be HiRit. Misfits have taken that one away. Excel now need to retreat. Patrick's still strong, but they have to peel for him, and Misfits might just be too powerful. Finn looking for an angle into the backside, looking to disrupt, but Patrik goes golden. Neon gets deleted, but is it going to be enough? Finn and Nukeduck running for the hills. And Misfits just chasing them down. Even if Tryndamere escapes, it might not matter. Midwave already being pushed out by Mersa. He's got his eye on the prize. Finn just trying to buy as much time, as much space as he can to stop the game from ending.
He's gonna die. Nukeduck's trying to back away. Misfits, they have the Baron and they have a wave. Mersa's trying to push in as quickly as he can. 30 seconds on Patrik, 50 seconds on Finn. Nukeduck is gonna get spotted. Will get chased down. Shlatan if he hits this Q.
It's gonna be big. Keep the chase going. Waiting. They can just stall his recall. They're fine. Ryze is pushing the mid lane. They kill him. That's even better.
Q.
Waiting for the passive to fall away. Nukeduck running, but here goes Mersa. Why not? Get the support to kill too.
Does manage to take the kill. Big fight from Misfits. You can see the difference in the way the team fights play out when they're just a death ball and Finn can't find an angle to go in. Nukeduck's not on a flank and Patrik's just kind of left alone the second Misfits get one kill. Reset onto the Jinx. Vetheo 5-0 and 10 untouched this entire game. We talked about bot lane throughout this majority of the game, but it's Vetheo who's quietly been carrying.
Yeah, and we were waiting to see if in this game, if Neon could rise up and be the reliable second carry for Misfits. And he has done well, don't get me wrong. Don't let those deaths deceive you. But Vetheo always was the rock for the Misfits team this season and last year. This man has shown up big in so many games, and no surprise to see it happen again here versus Misfits. Shadow Flame completed. He is one terrifying threat to be reckoned with.
Yeah, full build for the Ryze. And now they have the Dragon Soul points. We'll have Baron for a little bit. Of course, Neon doesn't have it because He got one shot in the fight by Nukeduck.
Yeah, happens.
Bot inhib tower's down, mid inhib tower's down. So exposed inhibitors, they can just kind of buff these waves up and push in. They can't go for a 1-3-1, so they're going to go for some kind of 1-4 here. Neon is just hovering around HiRit to make sure he's safe.
XL feels like they have to force a fight. If they lose 2 inhibitors here, it's all but over.
Inhib's
Taking
going to
their
go
time,
down.
debating, looking for their window of opportunity.
Neon no flash.
Q lands, kick back, comes out a little bit early in the fight. Finn going to take a decent chunk of damage.
Locket used. Inhib down. Misfits, you could just back off now. Go towards top, Ryze ult top even. Ryze ult the wave, they're just going to Ryze ult the wave and hit the tower. Markoon's
Going
going
in, but that's the key for them to kick things off. Neon now going to get shredded. It was a split call. Not everybody got in the Realm Warp, and that's going to cost them. Yes, they break into tower. If they can break a 3rd inhibitor, it's probably going to feel like it's worth, but if Excel can chase them down, can they turn the game back? Mikyx
Just looking for it.
Close,
he knows he needs to force it.
has to play for it. Nukeduck able to get the GA for now. Resurrection now coming out. HiRit in the area. They want to finish off Shlatan. Safeguard back. The rest of the team. XL know that they need to get more. They have an advantage.
They're
they
gonna
have
chase
to
them.
keep pressing.
Misfits have a couple Baron recalls if they want to do it, but I think they're going to have to turn eventually. Shlatan's kick is coming up soon. HiRit and Vetheo on the front line.
Going in. They're burning everything that they have on him. Nukeduck coming in second. Patrik untouched on the backside for now. Big damage comes across. Finn has to run. Misfits are simply too strong. Even that small advantage is not going to matter. Finn just barely making it out alive as Shlatan fearlessly going in. Doesn't quite cost him his life.
You can kill Neon, but you can't kill Misfits. Vetheo and HiRit are just way too tanky. XL tried to force the play. They're going to have to TP back to base now and lick their wounds. 2 inhibs down, only 1 inhib standing. HiRit's already just going to try to push for it. Mikyx's dead, but HiRit is alone for a couple seconds. Veteo's going to join in. Mersa's here, but Neon and Shlatan are so far away. This is a 3v4 for this top inhibitor.
So much lifesteal for HiRit as well. They're able to lock him down. Finn just going to get shredded, just going to get taken out. Patrik, there's nowhere for him to go. The flag and drag goes in, but it's only going to hit one. Rocket from downtown. Patrik going to get hit. HiRit flashing in. The buckshot to finish it. A shotgun shot to the face. Not a bad way to go. Certainly a bad way to go. Is now Misfits poised to end the game, but they're fighting in the base. They're not focused on ending. Instead, they're splitting their focus. They want to keep going for this. It happened against G2, and now it's happening against Misfits. They've got the game in the palm of their hands, but they can't decide if they want to hit the Nexus or they want to hit the champions.
It's a 4v3. Neon has arrived. XL don't have much damage left. It's only Nukeduck who can do it.
Nukeduck blocked up, saved by the Tahm. Kench instantly Markoon into the midst of the entire team. Tries to get as much space as he can, but Nukeduck is just not enough. Misfits have ended the game. Confidence from start to finish. Misfits will find the win.
Such an important win for them now because that ties them in 3rd place in the regular season. Still a couple more weeks to go, but this rookie lineup of Misfits is shining in the middle of this split. And Vetheo is also shining. We talked a lot about bot lane, and as hard as it was for Neon to live against the Tryndamere, Jarvan, LeBlanc, he's going to die no matter what. Vetheo has to step up. HiRit has to step up. We saw it in that last fight there, where it's a 3 versus 4, and they're confident to force it.
Yeah, Veteo's going to join us at the Analyst desk soon, just to tease you for any content coming up, as well as BDS versus Vitality. And this was an incredibly chaotic game. So the fact that HiRit and Vetheo were able to be kind of rocks for their team with all this other chaos, with the jungle supports roaming so consistently, was a good look for the side of Misfits. Kia player of the game at LEC on Twitter, Shlatan, Vetheo, Mersa are your 3 options. No wrong choices here.
Shlatan had some good kicks. Mersa and Shlatan were teaming up very well in the early game. That's what got Misfits this early lead. But Vetheo, absolute rock for this team.
Yeah, and certainly the way that they played around the bot side pressure, the fact that Neon was also able to get some of those kills, get some of those early resets, but at the end of the day, that was a 5-0-10 Ryze last time we checked in on it. That is a masterclass in that champion.
Definitely was. Never got caught out, never died, and dished out a hell of a lot of damage.
What more can you ask for, Caedrel?
And he got it on last pick as well.
Ooh, ban that. Well, we're soon going to have Vetheo join the Analyst desk for a look at Misfits' huge win, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.